We're going to talk nutrition in a bit, but I saw some Twitter messages, and let me just read through. So, Free the Citizens Jude, on our question, he says that Jude, we were somewhere last week where the hashtag lying one, I don't know who that is, was visiting in the Volta region. We witnessed free fuel for all motorbikes carrying party flags and in campaign t-shirts, cash rush at another site. People will see their smoothness level on election
to be fair,
day.
I don't know who the lying one is.
So the lying one is.
You know, if you want to send a message, let's let's be more. Anyway,
so we're talking today about cooking methods and cancer. And joining us from Diswa Diet Consultant Medical Catering is Abigail Apafwa. Hello, Abigail. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good.
You're great?
Good. Yes, please, I'm fine.
We've taken you away from church.
Yes.
Well, you're good. So we're talking about cooking methods and cancer.
Yes, please.
How do those two correlate?
Oh, okay. So I would like to start by saying that nutrition or food is the cornerstone of every human existence. So as humans, as we are, we all eat. Yes, you can never live or you can never survive without eating. Yes. And so then we know that good nutrition actually helps us in preventing certain diseases like cardiovascular diseases, cancer, and as well some metabolic diseases. Yes. So when we talk about cancer, it's proliferation of cells. When we say proliferation of cells, we mean that nature has made our bodies in such a way that our bodies are made up of cells. So with time, these cells actually grow, they multiply, and then they die. And then new cells also develops. But some way, somehow, sometimes nature can be very funny, or sometimes an abnormal way of these cells can develop. They multiply and then they cause what we call tumors in our body. That leads to what we call the cancer. Now, looking at what the cooking methods are ways by which we cook to make food palatable, to make food appetizing for our health or for our consumption. Yes, so in as much as we know that good nutrition actually has an impact on our health, that's the same way we have to really take much into consideration our methods of cooking, because research has actually shown that certain methods of cooking can actually lead to cancer. Yes, so that is how come we chose this topic today to delve into it.
You know, and it's an important conversation, because sometimes you walk down the market area, you walk by your, in our communities, and you see the way some people are cooking. No, Charlie, you have to speak tongues over the food, because if you can't be sure what you're eating.
Yes. Right.
So that brings me to my next question for you. Can you explain to us some of the ways in which we cook that could have what you're discussing, or could be linked to cancer?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So then I would like to start by saying continue by saying that we have so many methods of cooking, and they are being grouped into two. We have the wet method of cooking, and then we have the dry method of cooking. So when we talk about the wet method of cooking, an example is our boiling, our poaching, our steaming. And then coming to the dry method of cooking, we have our baking, we have our grilling, we have our smoking. Yes, and even frying. They're all examples of dry methods of cooking. Now, when we are talking about cooking method that actually exposes one to developing cancer, we focus more on the dry method of cooking, because research has shown also that those type of cooking, or those method of cooking, involves high heat, and using the high heat in cooking actually exposes some chemicals or some harmful chemicals into the food, and then once we consume it, we have an increased risk of developing those cancers.
Really? The grilling and the frying?
Yes,
I thought at those high temperatures you're safe.
No. That's what most of us think, but according to more researches that has been done, it is not like that.
At this point, I'm confused. Because I thought at high temperatures you're safe. You know, you've killed all the bacteria, all the whatever is in the food, and then you're safe to eat.
Yes, so it is also what you are saying is actually true. But then when you are grilling, let's take the grilling for instance. Okay. You see, when you are grilling, what happens is that you lay your meat, especially your meat, you lay it on the griller, and then you put it under a direct flame. Yes, those direct flames actually has this high temperature. And then what happens is that once the meat is cooking, the fat in the meat actually drips into the open flame, and then it generates some harmful chemicals known as the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and then we have heterocyclic amines. So those things causes the smoke. So when the fat is dripping into the open flames, what happens is that the smoke that comes out contains these chemicals I've actually talked about, and that is said to be carcinogenic.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's not directly from the meat or whatever you are grilling. It's the smoke you are inhaling.
Yes, please.
Wow. But the food itself is fine.
No, so you know it's coming out from the smoke into the food. So definitely it's getting into the food. So
it's not that you're inhaling it, but also inhaling it is a problem.
Inhaling it's a problem, and consumption is also a problem.
But if I wear my mask, I've taken one out, right?
Oh yes.
Wow, you know, it's interesting because I've not attuned my mind to that fact.
Yes, a lot of people have not.
Honestly, I didn't even know the smoke had anything. I just thought that, you know, the smoke makes it smoky,
you know, people even say it gives it taste. Thank you, like, you know, it's part of the garnishing process. Wow. Interesting.
Yes. You know, Ghanaians love so much grilling and frying.
No, come think about it. You see Kelewele queue. Actually, what are they sharing? Is it money they are sharing there? Wow. But you know, let me just slightly push you off. Slightly, don't worry, you'll be fine. You get a lot of people also say microwave your food in a certain way, you know, and now people even use microwaves to cook.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Indomie and all of that, noodles and all of that. So what's the professional advice around the use of microwaves when it comes to preparing food? Okay.
So the microwaving, and then it's also part of the method of cooking, and I can put it at the dry method of cooking. So what happens is that we have temperatures, different types of temperature. You know, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees. So, and then when you're frying too, you can use a temperature of 170 degrees. When you're baking, you can use a temperature. So it depends on the temperature. So when you talk about microwave cooking, actually has a temperature of more than 200 degrees, which is considered high, even though it is not the very best way to cook. Yes, but comparing microwaving cooking or air frying cooking to that of the grilling I talked about, the microwaving cooking is better because it has lesser temperature compared to the grilling I'm talking about. Yes.
So like we said, we love grilling.
Yes.
How then can we protect, you know, ourselves from this carcinogen that you talk about?
Okay, so there are several ways of doing that. So one, we talk about you marinating your meat or your fish or whatever you want to grill. Yes. So when I talk about marination, it's like spicing your meat with vinegar, with lemon, with these natural spices, and leaving it for some time before you actually grill. What happens is that research again has shown that when you do it that way, it limits the way it inhibits it reduces the formation or the generation of these harmful chemicals that I talked about. Yes, so you can do that. You can also how do you call it? You can also
you know, when can we marinate while it's still on the grill?
No, you marinate down.
Then so you marinate, put it.
You know, I wanted to ask you how
you put it on
what is
the grill.
the ideal duration for like marinating your meat?
Oh, you can do it 4 hours, 3 hours. So the minimum should be like 3 hours.
Because I marinate my meat.
Marinate what?
See, the day
don't come and give us tummy aches, please. I beg you, we don't want any tummy aches in this.
I'll do my beef rice with cool down.
Thank you. Our producer says liar boy.
I'll do it one of these days. All these, I'll tell a child that see nobody, the lunch, nobody should bring lunch.
You cook.
I'm coming to cook for
because you want to give us
no, because I
to
want to taste my magic. So thank you for the tip on how I can marinate my meat.
Yes,
I'll pay attention.
When we have a cooking competition again, you'll be the chief
I
cook for the newsroom.
I was the one giving technical advice.
To whom? I did not see you in the kitchen.
No shout. Don't shout. But I was doing it behind the scenes.
But I did not see you in the kitchen the whole period where we did that competition.
On the WhatsApp page. I was giving the advice on the WhatsApp page.
Abigail, you said, when we put the meat on the fire,
yes,
sometimes we brush it off with oil,
yes,
which will definitely cause the smooth to come. But
they know how to do it. They know how to do
Dip the thing and then put a bit of it on the meat. You're saying we shouldn't do that.
Yes.
So is it after we marinate and we put it on the grill, that's it? We shouldn't put anything else on it?
No, you shouldn't put anything on it. So the second way you can actually reduce that is also by trying as much as possible to trim the fat from your meat.
Yeah,
fatty foods are nice, but that's what is actually causing so many things. Those cardiovascular diseases and all, they are all coming from the consumption or excessive consumption of fatty foods.
Okay, I like that. Excessive consumption. So once in a while.
Yes, once in a while. Oh, you can breach that one once in a while. Once in a while.
Where once in a while means every other day. Once in a while, every other day.
Yes.
What would you say the most important takeaways for those who are listening, right? You've said so many things, and some of them resonate a lot with me, right? If for nothing at all, now I know that when I'm doing my, my stick and things, I have to, when I'm doing my meat grilling, I have to marinate it for some time.
Yes.
So thank you. But what would you say it's that very important thing that we should all be mindful of from this discussion?
Oh yes. So we should all be mindful of our cooking methods. Yes, and we should try as much as possible to go the healthier ways. Then the healthier ways has to do with the wet method of cooking that I talked about. So more of boiling, more of steaming, more of stewing compared to the frying, compared to the grilling, compared to the baking and all. And then you can also it cannot prevent you from saying, you cannot just stop or halt baking, you cannot grilling, yes, but you should minimize it a bit, and then also you should also try as much as possible to keep it on the low. Okay, another thing is when you are baking or when you are grilling, you can actually use a low temperature, in that you can reduce the rate at which these dangerous or these harmful chemicals that I talked about getting the food into it. So what happens is that when you are, say you are grilling your meat, you can cut the meat into smaller pieces so that it will take a shorter time for it to cook. In the chemicals will not get more into the, it will not come more, it will not be more in the food.
Right.
Yes, please.
There's a question here for you. Kindly ask the dietitian whether cooking with gas is better than with charcoal.
Oh, cooking with gas and charcoal, there's no problem with any of them. I don't think so. Yes, I don't think so.
The MPA people disagree with you, but
for me personally, I haven't done much or more research into that. But for what I know,
thank you so much for your time. Honestly, it's been short, it's been brief, but it's been very concise, right? With a proper focal message. Be mindful of how you cook your food, because you might think you're eating to gain some nutrients, but you'll be eating to worsen the state of your health.
Yes,
right?
I have learned, so I didn't even know the smoke could contribute to it. I thought the smoke was making the thing smoky and taste nice and all of that. We've learned a lot.
So, Abby, the next time I do my meat grilling and chicken grill, I invite you.
Yes, please.
So that you come and assess whether I'm doing it the proper way.
Please do.
Yeah, thank you so much. So you're also with
Yes.
Consult, right? And medical catering. So grateful for your time.
You're welcome.
We hope to have you again,
yes,
where we look at other issues. So viewers, that's all time our time would allow us for a really important, educative and really insightful conversation into how to cook and how to do it properly, right? Last week, Enna was in studio and she took us through, you know, how to guard against the use of rubber, right, and plastics in our kitchen, in our cooking, which she said, in fact, is causing a lot of health complications for people. And this week or today, Abigail Pafo is also with Enna Consult, helping us through how to cook and cook appropriately, right?